back then, St Giles in Clayton was a cowshed, and because it was old farmland. It was a new estate, and the farmland had been converted to this new estate. So it was all brand new families, brand new houses. But yeah, back then Neil was a teenager, and my dad was a young curate in his first posting.
And you hadn't been born at this point?
No, I'd not been born. No, this is a decade before I'd been born. So I didn't meet Neil when Dad worked in Clayton, and Dad moved around because of his job. Mum and Dad moved, and then we lived in Stratford. And in the 80s, Dad took a call from Neil out of the blue. He'd not heard from him since the 60s, and all I can remember is Dad taking the call. He was a very big fella. Dad was. He had a big booming voice, and all I can remember it really clearly. He just said, "Neil, how are you?" So you could tell he'd not spoken to this person for ages. I thought, "Who's Neil?" And he says, "You're a what? You're a clown?" "Yes, I'll come and see you. Yes." And he put the phone down. He said, "Do you want to go to the circus?" I said, "Yeah, why not?" So we went to see him perform in our town. This is in Stratford, Stratford-on-Avon.
Knowing that you were there.
His dad was the vicar at Holy Trinity there. And we went to see Neil as a clown. And then after the performance, he invited us back for a cup of tea in his caravan. Well, it was exactly like the caravan in the film Marvellous. It was when I saw that scene, when the caravan was left on its own, I went, "I've been in that caravan."
Because the pictures were, it was the caravan his mum bought him. Did he have the monkey at that point that used to sleep with him in the caravan?
No, it was just him. It was him and a string of socks. I remember he had his socks drying out halfway across the. So we were sitting at one end, and he was sort of shuffling around at the other end making a cup of tea, and we sort of had to duck to look at him through the socks.
Oh, I think that might make it into our play, those socks. What was his act like? Can you remember?
Well, I think we saw him in the very early days because he was sort of the clown's assistant at this point. Mm-hmm. So he was actually in a gorilla suit.
Oh, yeah.
And that's why we didn't recognise him. I was saying, "Which one is he?" He said, "Well, Dad was looking at the main clown." I said, "Well, I don't think that's him." And we were watching him. He said, "Well, if it is him, he's doing a very good job. This is incredible."
Oh, of course, because your dad hasn't seen him for years.
No, he hasn't seen him for years. And it was hard to tell all the makeup that clowns wear. And we were very confused. And then when we got the invite back to his caravan, and the guy who met us at the side of the tent was the guy in a gorilla suit, minus the hat, minus the head. So, and it's like, "Oh, Neil." Yeah. I mean, I do remember that because it was quite an unusual memory, so it stuck out in my mind. But then I had no contact with Neil until I came to work in Stoke. We're going back to 2009, and then a couple of years later, I was given a part in the Panto at the Regent, and he was at the stage door, and he reintroduced himself to me, and reminded me of this whole episode and his connection with my parents.
What do you think his magic is? What do you think is? Why do you think we've all taken into our hearts?
I asked Dad about it.
What did he say?
What's the thing with Neil then? And he says he has a genius, and his genius is publicity. He's a natural one-man publicity machine, and because no one's employing him and no one's sort of using him to do it, he does it for himself. It's natural almost for him to do this, just to latch on to people, and the whole thing grows, and it's this big network of people. So he's a natural networker and a publicist.
That's an interesting insight. That's kind of your dad's business, isn't it? To see things.
Yeah, I suppose so.
The wood for the trees.
Yeah.
How interesting. Yeah, he's kind of amazing, isn't he?
He is. That's his gift.
Mm.
He connects people and connects with people.
Yeah, I think that's really interesting.
Yeah. So, and we get on quite well, me and Neil, now. So, he's sort of regularly on my show, and we go to the circus sometimes together, and he go with my kids. Yeah, he's a good lad.